Hello and welcome to another folding tutorial brought to you by Popapology. In this video I'll be showing you how to fold a slightly simpler Taj Mahal design available online as part of my collection of origamic architecture or kirigami pop-up greeting card range. So all you need to do is download your file and hand cut or mechanically cut your piece, and you should end up with something that looks like this. Obviously, if you are hand cutting, it will take somewhat longer for you to finish your piece ready for folding, but it also adds an element of personalization. And so we are now ready to begin the folding process, which we do, as always, by just establishing a baseline shallow fold or crease, as you can see at the sections where my thumbs are, which is our spine of the card. And you just want to kind of just push gently in incremental small kind of movements while supporting the back of your card all across the plane with 2 digits. And already you can see these tower elements starting to kind of protrude and come forward into space. And you want to carry on with this, but only to a shallow degree of fold, because if you over deploy any area in one go, you tend to break certain areas of the card, certain planes or connecting kind of tabs. So you just want to go very gently, and before overfolding in any one section, you want to catch up with the rest of your underdeveloped areas of the design, as in this case the front and the top sections. And we will just be, from this stage on, moving from the top and the bottom towards the center. So it might help to orientate your card 90 degrees, and by supporting the planes from beneath, just literally press out your shapes. Again, only to a shallow degree of fold, so you don't want to zoom in anywhere just yet. Just make sure that your towers are forward in space, and just go along your design. And once you have just gently established this valley fold structure on the top, you can just turn your piece around and do the same on the bottom, which again is done by just going along all this bottom plane section, focusing in on this perforation, which will give us a very long mountain fold. And as you are bringing this forward, whilst sort of pinching on the base of your card and getting some tension in the paper, which you should feel as you are pushing it forward. The tension helps because it creates a kind of even pressure across the piece, and that's what you will be looking for. And as you can see, as we bring this plane together forward, it will bring with it these 2 towers in the foreground. Those features will become very prominent. And you just want to keep on going until you get to about a 90-degree fold in the front. And then again, you need to go back to the top of the design and orientate your piece 180 degrees, and you can actually now start to focus in on these small dome architectural features. This is probably the trickiest part, really, to deploy nicely without breaking the paper in those very delicate tab areas. But you can just do this by just literally with a small pinch, just bringing forward each shape in isolation. But actually, once you get to a certain degree of fold, you will just need to concentrate on its environment as well. So when you're bringing forward, further deploying that section together, you can just actually push it along, as you can see, with a thumb as you're going forward with your folding in unison. And this we do by actually concentrating on the entire design and almost kind of cupping with our hands, cupping the entire shape of our card, or the base and the back of our card. and you just want to be gently pushing all these shapes forward whilst keeping a couple of digits free to concentrate on certain kind of delicate features, and you can zoom in on them as you're bringing your entire structure forward in space, as you can see here. Make sure that you end up looking at the entire design in unison, so not over deploying in any particular area, and can be quite difficult to bear this in mind because you tend to get very involved with one slight detail and you take your eyes off other areas. That happens quite a lot, especially at the beginning, but then, you know, with practice it should get easier and you should be more aware of what's happening across your piece. And really at this stage we can go back to the front and deploy a very kind of helpful pinch technique, which is just to take this entire plane and bring it forward, as you can see, just gently forward whilst catching up with our shapes from the back and almost collapsing it entirely, but not quite, and really trying to get all of our shapes to work in unison. And by this stage, as you can see, I'm really kind of supporting the structures from behind as I go along so it doesn't go backwards, and then just progressively pinching, especially these little areas there of the design forward. And indeed, very soon you'll see that it all comes into perfect alignment, and at that stage you can just literally fall down the entire design. And all that remains now is for you to kind of press down your shapes from the top. This is just to establish all the creases in a more sort of definite way, and so we impart memory to the paper as we go along, like so. And now if we open our piece, we should have a really nice mechanically crisp structure ready to deploy and redeploy as a pop-up card. And you can see that all these areas have been unblemished and look very crisp in the light, especially with these light and shadow plays. So now you're ready to apply your personal touches, whether that be decoration or embellishment, but also bearing in mind that we have a void left behind by removing that part of the paper and using it up effectively as our pop-up element. We can use a backing sheet to cover that section. I tend to use a transparency sheet, and I do recommend you try it at least as well, because you get some really amazing light and shadow plays. And if I just hold it up against the light, you get an idea, a sense of how that works. I really prefer this to a solid sheet just because of this amazing luminosity that you achieve. And by changing the color, you radically change the result. So do try out different effects and different papers. But if I just add a much stronger color, as in this case, this red really picks up on all the apertures and all the kind of gaps left in our paper, and it really kind of brings forward our design in space, as you can see here. And because of course the theme of this card being the Taj Mahal is a somewhat of a love theme, it makes the perfect choice for a Valentine's Day card. And we can actually, just by adding some typography into our design, achieve the full overall effect. Again, using a beautiful combination of different stocks to really make the typography, the stencil fonts that I created here, jump out at you if I hold it up against the light, as you can see there. But do experiment with your own combinations. All I would recommend is that you choose a different colored backing sheet to the front, so that there is a bit of contrast, and thereby you get as much impact as possible when it comes to the graphic interface or the graphic kind of effects. So do experiment, and do share your results online on my very varied platforms, including Facebook and Instagram. Hope you enjoy this project, and hope to see you again for the next one soon. Thanks again for watching, and happy Valentine's Day. Goodbye.